Today started as a normal day. Famous last words. My name is Jim Allen. I work as a manager in one of the big banks. It's nothing special, it's a lot of work, but I make good money. My wife is Debbie. Even though I look like an average 180-pound man in my 30s, I've always felt I got married for a reason. Debbie is beautiful. Simply put, beautiful. We met 5 years ago at a mutual friend's party. We both felt like we were set up, but didn't mind. I won't bore you with the details of our courtship and subsequent wedding, but I will say that, in my opinion, we were perfect for each other. Cliché town, but the stars aligned, common interests, tastes matched, blah, 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 blah. Everything was going great until a month ago when we met. We were at her parents' house for Christmas, and the usual grandchild molestation started. I loved it. I want kids, but Debbie is putting off starting our family because she is very busy with work. It's frustrating because she doesn't have to work. She is working. She is climbing the career ladder at her company and has her sights set on a vice president position. For the past few months, she has been working crazy hours and even on weekends. The last month has been the craziest. Since Christmas, she has been a total bitch. I told her about it, and she promised that things will get better soon. Our sex life is normal, with intervals of a couple times a week. We've done all the experimentation we deemed necessary and have gotten into a regular rhythm. Lots of sex, all kinds of positions. So what happened today that soured my happiness? 4 simple words. My wife's friend, Jill. It's too easy to call her a friend. They're just sisters. Jill calls my in-laws mom and dad to show how close they are. Today, Jill came to my office and was waiting for me when I walked in. As soon as I saw her, I immediately brightened up. She is simply gorgeous. Tall, slender, sweet as sugar, and notoriously single. I've never understood how she can't maintain a serious relationship. She seems perfect, but she's never had a boyfriend long-term. Debbie says she has trust issues because her high school sweetheart and love of her life, Steve, broke her heart after several years of marriage. Whatever the reason, I feel sorry for her. In my mind, she is Mary Poppins, practically perfect in every way. I jokingly call her Mary from time to time. She's never understood why. My wife finds it amusing. When I walk in, I greet her with my usual smile and a warm hug. I ask my secretary Alice to get us coffee and invite her to follow me into my office. Alice sets the coffee down and closes the door, getting ready to leave. At this point, it is clear that something serious is going on because Jill has never come into my office before, and her expression is very sad. I cut to the chase and ask her the obvious questions. What's wrong and how can I help? She hesitated and started by asking if I knew what had happened to her marriage. I replied that I didn't know, but assumed that her husband had cheated on her. She confirmed this. She went on to tell me that she had caught him with a girl from the bar in the parking lot as he was getting into a Hummer in the back seat of his car. She managed to get a photo, and the divorce went pretty easily after that. She had suspected him for months and set it up so that he thought she had left and was stalking him. Since that was almost 10 years ago, I asked her what happened to bring it up now. She told me how she ran into this creep last week. He started talking to her and tried to convince her to have old memory sex with him. She told him to back off. He had the nerve to say he'd meet her after lunch. And Jill followed him again. I splashed my coffee on the table. I asked the stupid and obvious question, Debbie who? Yes, that's my Debbie. I replied as usual, No, you're lying. You're making a mistake. It's a mistake and other nonsense. Jill then handed me her cell phone. On it, I saw a picture of Debbie walking into a motel room. Jill said she'd been there for 2 hours, and the next picture showed Debbie and the asshole leaving the room together. I broke down. While I was crying over the loss of my marriage, Jill came up to me and hugged me. After a long time, we part ways. I get up and ask her to leave me alone for a minute. I walk out of the office and tell Alice I'm leaving for the day. I go to the bathroom and splash my face with water. I finally calm down and go back to my office. I take Jill's hands in mine and thank her for telling me. She cries and says she was afraid I would hate her for what she told me. I hug her and tell her I could never hate her. We packed up our stuff and left. We went back to my house and she helped me gather my thoughts on what to do next. In my opinion, divorce was the only way out. There was no going back. Jill gave me the number of her attorney and I made an appointment for the next day. I haven't canceled the cards or transferred the money because Debbie doesn't know I'm in the loop yet. I still have the element of surprise. Jill left, and now all I had to do was figure out how to hide what I knew from my wife. She came home from work as usual and was surprised to see me home. I pretended to be sick and told her I was going to go to bed early. She nursed her sick husband as usual and I pretended to fall asleep. At the meeting with the lawyer, we discussed my options and ultimately my goal. It is very simple. I want a clean breakup with as little drama as possible. There will be no reconciliation. The attorney said it won't be too difficult since we weren't married long and we don't have children. She also didn't think counseling would be mandatory. She asked when I wanted my wife to be served with the summons, and I said to wait a week. I wanted to see if I could catch her at the scene. She flatly refused to do so. She said I already had evidence and leverage, so don't do anything stupid. I reluctantly agreed and told her to serve it to her as soon as it was ready. That night I got home and Debbie was making dinner. She hugged me, kissed me, and we made the usual small talk about how our day had gone. Everything was boiling inside me, and I could hardly contain my disgust. We ate dinner in silence. I pretended to be sick and went to bed early. The next day I went to the bathroom, showered, shaved, and was out of the house before she woke up. This afternoon, the excrement was going to hit the blades of the rotating air-blowing machine, and all I wanted to do was run away. Only a call from Jill helped me keep my sanity. She said it was her day off today and I should fly down and meet her at her apartment so she could help me with the pain. Of course, I agreed. I was sitting with Jill when my lawyer called and said that Debbie would be served with a subpoena within the hour. 20 minutes later, my phone rang. I couldn't bear to talk to her. There was an insane amount of profanity in her message. She kept trying. I deleted the first 5 messages as they were all meaningless. Then the messages started. I only sent her 1. After that, I received no response. When we finally talked at my lawyer's office a month later, she apologized to me and told me that Dave was a one-time mistake and that I was asking her to forgive me so we could build our family. My lawyer gasped at those words. She looked at me with a smile and told me to give my wife the picture. Debbie asked what kind of picture? I replied the picture of her and Steve at the motel. That's when she fainted. Who the hell is Dave? She stopped resisting and signed the papers. 6 months later, I was free, and I cried again. We found out Dave was Dave Jackson, her boss. He's a scumbag. My lawyer sued the company since he was president, and we got a nice settlement. He and Debbie were let go. I didn't talk to Jill for months because she didn't want anything to mess up my divorce. She said I didn't need the rumors to give my wife an excuse. That made sense, but I hated her. She was my rock. I thought about her every day and wished I was in her league to have any chance. About a month after the divorce was finalized, I was sitting at Starbucks on a Saturday morning when Jill came up to me. We were making small talk and figuring things out while sipping coffee. When we ran out of mundane topics, Jill ripped off the Band-Aid and asked how I was holding up. I replied that I was fine. I said the ladies at work were trying to set me up with nieces or daughters, but I wasn't interested. Jill, of course, asked why. I replied, knowing the consequences, that I was already in love and this girl was out of my league and wouldn't interest me. Jill looked at me with a strange scrutiny and asked why this woman wasn't interested in me. I replied that it was simple. She's too perfect. Jill burst into tears. I walked over to her and pulled her to me for a hug. I asked her what was wrong. She asked what nickname I had come up with for her. I replied that of course it was Mary. She then asked why. I replied that Mary Poppins was practically perfect in every way. She then kissed me in a way that made my toes tingle. I smiled as I looked into her eyes and asked if she would ever consider loving an ordinary guy like me. She quietly replied that it was too late. She was already in love with me and was waiting for me to catch up with her. 6 months later, we were married. It was a great honeymoon.